Your 30s can be the most powerful decade of your life, or the one you regret forever. The choice is yours, and it starts today. Imagine this. You wake up one morning and realize you've crossed the line into your 30s. No balloons, no fireworks, just another sunrise. But something feels different. The number isn't huge, but it carries weight. You're not young and figuring it out anymore. You're expected to know who you are, where you're going, and how you'll get there. The problem? Many people drift through this decade without noticing it slipping away. They think, I still have time. They work, scroll, sleep, repeat, until one day they look back and ask, what did I actually do with my 30s? And the answer hurts. Your 30s are not just another 10 years. They are the bridge between youth and middle age. What you build here will carry you into the rest of your life, or trap you in regrets you can't undo. In your 20s, mistakes are experiments. In your 30s, they have consequences. Think about it. This is the decade when most people make big life decisions: career paths, families, homes, investments, health habits. Every choice compounds, positively or negatively. Ignore your health now, and you'll pay in your 40s. Waste money now, and you'll struggle for decades. The scary part? The 30s feel short. One year blends into the next because life becomes routine. Same job, same commute, same small talk at the same coffee shop. You blink, and 5 years are gone. That's why we need to talk about how not to waste this decade. First, understand this truth. Your 30s are not the time to keep finding yourself endlessly. They're the time to start building yourself. That means making intentional choices, even when they're uncomfortable. It's not about being perfect, it's about being deliberate. So where do we start? With the biggest enemy of progress, autopilot living. If your days are copy-pasted versions of each other, you're not really living. You're just replaying. And every replay costs you time you can never get back. I want you to imagine your 40-year-old self looking at you now. What would they thank you for? What would they wish you had done differently? That's the mindset we'll use for this journey. In the next parts, we'll break down the habits, mindsets, and strategies that can make your 30s the decade of transformation instead of the decade of quiet regret. Because if you can master this decade, the rest of your life changes forever. One of the biggest dangers in your 30s is living by other people's timelines. You see friends buying homes, getting married, starting families, or launching businesses, and you feel like you're falling behind. That quiet pressure can push you into choices you're not ready for. In your 20s, comparison feels like curiosity. In your 30s, it can feel like panic. Parents start asking when you'll settle down. Friends hit big milestones. Social media shows perfect vacations and happy announcements. You start wondering if you're late to the race of life. Here's the truth. There is no single right timeline. Some find their passion at 20, others at 50. Some marry young and stay happy, others regret it. Some make millions early, others much later. Life is not a race, and comparison will only steal your joy, focus, and energy. The danger is real. If you keep comparing, you may spend your 30s chasing goals that don't matter to you. You might land a job you hate, enter the wrong relationship, or spend money just to look successful. Then you turn 40 and realize it was all for someone else. Your 30s should be about clarity, not conformity. This is the decade to get brutally honest about what you want, not what your friends or family expect. When you have your own definition of success, it's easier to say no to paths that don't lead where you want to go. Step 1. Unfollow the noise. If seeing someone's posts makes you feel behind, mute them. Protect your mental space. This isn't jealousy, it's self-defense. You can't build your life if you're distracted by someone else's highlight reel every time you pick up your phone. Step 2. Redefine success. Take a notebook and write down what a good life means for you. Is it freedom? Family? Adventure? Stability? If your version of success doesn't match the crowd's, that's a good sign. You're thinking for yourself instead of copying others. Step 3. Do fewer things better. Stop trying to catch up in every area. Choose 2 or 3 priorities for this decade, maybe health, career, and relationships, and go deep. When you focus, you make real progress instead of scattering your energy everywhere. The more you walk your own path, the more respect you'll gain. Even if people don't understand your choices, they'll feel your confidence. A person who says, "I'm building my life my way," inspires more than someone chasing the crowd without knowing why. Remember, your 30s are short. Every year goes faster. Don't waste them trying to fit into someone else's timeline. The only race that matters is the one you run with yourself. And if you win by your own rules, you'll never feel like you're losing. Your 30s can feel stable. You've built routines, maybe a career, maybe a home. That stability is nice, but it can also become a trap. Comfort is silent. It doesn't warn you when it's holding you back. One day, you wake up and realize you've stopped growing. In your 20s, discomfort feels exciting. You move cities, try new jobs, meet new people. But in your 30s, you often choose safety over challenge. The problem is, growth doesn't live in comfort. You can't change your life by doing the same things over and over. This decade is when many people stop taking risks. They tell themselves, I can't start over now. I'm too old to change careers. I'm too busy to learn something new. These lies feel reasonable, but they steal the best years you still have ahead of you. If you stay in your comfort zone, your 30s will vanish without real progress. You might keep the same job you hate, stay in a relationship that's going nowhere, or put off a dream for later until later never comes. Comfort slowly becomes regret. The good news is, you don't have to give up stability to keep growing. You just need to push yourself into small, controlled discomfort every week. The more you do this, the more courage you build. And courage compounds like interest. Start small. Speak up in that meeting. Sign up for a course that scares you a little. Travel somewhere new. Talk to someone outside your usual circle. Discomfort is just a sign you're stretching into the next version of yourself. When you practice being uncomfortable, you teach your brain that it's safe to take risks. You stop overthinking and start doing. And in your 30s, that's powerful because you have more skills and resources now than you did in your 20s. Comfort isn't the enemy. It's the enemy when it's constant. Think of it like a couch. Rest there when you need to, but don't live there forever. Your dreams need you to stand up, step out, and keep moving forward. In the end, you'll remember the challenges you faced, not the days you stayed safe. Make your 30s the decade of bold moves, not quiet comfort. One small risk at a time, you'll build a life you're proud to look back on. Your future self will never thank you for playing small. They will thank you for every time you stepped into the unknown, even when it scared you. That's how you make this decade count. One of the deadliest lies in your 30s is, I'll do it later. You say it about starting a side project, getting fit, fixing your finances, or learning a skill. You believe there's time. But later often turns into never, without you even noticing. This decade moves fast. Work, family, bills, they fill your days. You keep thinking you'll start when things calm down, but life never really slows. If you wait for the perfect moment, you'll waste years waiting for something that doesn't exist. The problem is, later feels safe. It lets you avoid discomfort and fear. But every time you delay, you weaken your momentum. The habit of waiting becomes stronger than the habit of starting, and your dreams quietly fade into the background. Think about it. How many ideas have you had in the last 5 years? How many are still just ideas? How many could have changed your career, health, or happiness if you had acted right away instead of postponing? The cure for later is urgency. When something matters, do it now, imperfectly, messily, even if you're not ready. The first step is always harder in your head than in real life. Once you start, momentum carries you forward. You don't need a perfect plan to begin. You just need a tiny action. Send the email. Make the call. Sign up for the class. Write one page. One action now is worth more than 100 plans for someday. In your 30s, every year you wait has a cost. You lose time, but you also lose energy and confidence. The older you get, the heavier the excuses feel. The sooner you start, the sooner you win back control of your future. Sometimes, later is just fear in disguise. Fear of failure, of judgment, of the unknown. The only way to shrink that fear is to walk straight into it. Action is the best antidote to anxiety. 5 years from now, you'll wish you had started today. Or you'll be grateful you did. Your choice. The difference between the two is one small decision you make in this moment. Your 30s are too valuable to be put on hold. Every day you act is a day you build. Every day you wait is a day you waste. Choose action. Choose now. In your 30s, your brain becomes a master at overthinking. You plan every detail, calculate every risk, and try to predict every outcome. It feels smart, but too much thinking becomes a trap. You spend more time imagining life than actually living it. Overthinking kills momentum. You can spend months deciding whether to start a project, take a course, or make a change, and by the time you decide, the opportunity is gone. The truth is, no amount of thinking can replace the lessons you get from doing. Your 30s are not the decade to get stuck in analysis paralysis. You have enough life experience to make better decisions than in your 20s, but only if you act on them. The best plan in the world is useless without execution. Most of the fears that stop you are exaggerated in your head. You imagine failing in the worst way possible. But when you actually take the step, reality is rarely as bad as your thoughts. Fear shrinks when you face it. Action builds confidence faster than planning ever will. You learn from mistakes, adjust, and move forward. And in your 30s, you can recover from failures much faster than you think, as long as you don't waste years avoiding them. Start treating thinking as a short phase, not a permanent state. Give yourself a deadline to decide, then take action. Don't keep rewriting the plan while doing nothing. Progress comes from movement, not perfection. Remember, you can't steer a parked car. You have to get moving before you can make the right turns. Your 30s reward those who try, not just those who prepare. Even if you take the wrong step, you'll learn something that makes the next step smarter. But if you never move, all you'll have is theory, and theory doesn't change your life. You don't need more time to think. You need more courage to start. Let action become your default mode. In your 30s, the ones who win are the ones who do. In every workplace, friendship group, or family, there's always that one person who inspires everyone. Not because they talk the most, but because they do the most. In your 30s, you have the chance to become that person, the one who sets the example. Being that person doesn't mean being perfect. It means showing up when others quit. It means being disciplined when it's easier to relax. It's about keeping promises to yourself even when no one is watching. That's how you earn respect without asking. Most people wait for the right mood or the right moment. But the person who wins in their 30s is the one who takes action regardless of how they feel. Discipline will get you where motivation never could. Motivation fades. Discipline builds results. When you're that person, you lead without a title. You influence people without trying. Your actions speak louder than any advice you could give. People start looking to you as proof that growth is possible, even when life gets complicated. To get there, ask yourself each morning, what would a disciplined version of me do today? Then do that. Whether it's exercising, studying, networking, or building a business, keep showing up. This is how you transform your 30s from average to exceptional. In this decade, reliability becomes a superpower. Opportunities flow to those who deliver consistently. Trust is built slowly but lost instantly, so protect it. Being dependable in your 30s will shape your reputation for decades to come. Remember, you're not in competition with anyone else. You're proving to yourself that you can live up to your own potential. Every small win reinforces your identity as someone who follows through. That identity becomes hard to break. Becoming that person also means holding yourself to higher standards. You start catching yourself when you make excuses. You correct small lapses before they become habits. You take pride in being the person others can rely on without question. Years from now, people won't remember every word you said, but they will remember how you lived. They'll remember the consistency, the focus, and the way you kept going when others gave up. That's the legacy you can start building today. Your 30s are the perfect time to rise into this role. You have enough experience to know better and enough energy to do better. Be that person, the one who makes everyone around them believe they can be more too. In your 30s, your biggest competition isn't your friends, coworkers, or strangers online. It's you, the version of you that wants comfort, distraction, and excuses versus the version that wants growth, progress, and a better life. Every morning, you face a choice. Will you feed the lazy, fearful version of yourself, or the focused, disciplined one? The wolf you feed is the one that wins. This daily battle decides where you'll stand at 40, strong or stuck. The weaker you says, scroll a bit longer, start tomorrow. The stronger you says, get up, start now. Every choice tips the balance. Small wins add up over time, creating momentum you can feel in every area of your life. Tracking your wins helps. Write down when you choose growth over comfort. Celebrate it, no matter how small. This builds identity. You stop seeing yourself as trying and start seeing yourself as someone who does. The battle isn't about being perfect. You'll lose some days, But the key is never letting one bad day become a bad week. Reset fast. The faster you return to good habits, the less damage the weak version of you can do. Your 30s magnify habits. If you let the lazy you win most days, you'll pay the price in health, money, and confidence. If you let the strong you win, those same years will compound into success you can't ignore. Some days, the battle will feel heavy. You'll want to rest, and sometimes you should. But learn the difference between recovery and avoidance. Rest is planned. Avoidance is just giving up in slow motion. See the stronger you as your future self, cheering for you. They know the sacrifices now are worth it later. They know every hard choice you make today becomes a gift to them tomorrow. The weak you will always be louder because it speaks in comfort. The strong you whispers in discipline. Learn to listen to the whisper. That's where your true power is. Win more battles than you lose, and by the end of your 30s, you'll barely recognize the old you. The fight is daily, but so are the rewards. Willpower is the muscle that decides your 30s. Without it, feelings control you. You skip workouts because you're tired, delay work because you're not ready, or avoid learning because it feels hard. With willpower, you act anyway, and that changes everything. Feelings lie. They say rest when you should move. They say, not now, when now is perfect. Willpower cuts through the noise. It's not about being in the mood. It's about doing what matters even when you'd rather not. That's the path to lasting results. You build willpower by keeping small promises to yourself daily. Wake up when you said you would. Finish the task you wanted to avoid. Over time, these wins create a self-image you'll fight to protect. You see yourself as someone who follows through. In your 30s, life gets busier. Work, relationships, and health compete for attention. Without willpower, the easiest choice always wins. With willpower, the right choice wins more often, and each win shapes the rest of your decade. Start training this muscle now. Pick one thing you resist doing and do it daily for 30 days. Track it. Celebrate small streaks. This discipline spills into other areas until you become naturally more consistent without forcing it. Don't confuse willpower with punishment. It's not about denying joy. It's about creating space for better joy later. Skipping a party to work on a skill may feel hard now, but the opportunities it brings will feel incredible later. Willpower also protects you from quitting too soon. When the excitement fades, most people stop. But if you've trained discipline, you push through the boring, messy middle until progress shows up. That's where real change happens. The key is starting small. Overloading willpower leads to burnout. Strengthen it like a muscle, gradually, but consistently. Soon, what felt impossible becomes normal, even easy. Your 30s will test you. Some days will be heavy. But with strong willpower, you won't need perfect conditions to win. You'll create wins out of discipline, not luck. Master your willpower now, and by 40, you'll thank yourself for every single moment you acted when you didn't feel like it. That's the power that builds the life you want. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to ruin your 30s. You scroll online and see people with better jobs, fitter bodies, bigger houses, or happier families. Without noticing, you start judging your worth by their highlight reel, forgetting it's not the full story. The truth is, you're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's best 5%. You don't see their stress, failures, or sacrifices. You only see the polished version. Comparing to that illusion will always make you feel smaller than you really are. In your 30s, comparison hits harder because life paths are more visible. Some peers seem far ahead, others far behind. But everyone is on a different road with unique challenges. Your only fair competition is the person you were yesterday. When you focus on your lane, your progress speeds up. Energy you waste envying others can be spent improving yourself. Growth feels better when it's measured against your past, not someone else's present. That's where real confidence comes from. To fight comparison, curate your environment. Unfollow accounts that trigger envy. Spend time with people who inspire rather than compete. Create space where success feels shared, not like a scoreboard. Your mind will thank you for the peace. Learn to turn comparison into inspiration. If someone's ahead in an area you value, study their habits instead of resenting them. Use their example as proof it's possible, not as evidence you're behind. Your mindset shapes your energy. Remember, your timeline is your own. Some people peak early, others bloom later. Success at 35 is not late if you live to 90. In your 30s, you're still early in the game. Don't let fake deadlines push you into bad choices. Comparison also blinds you to your own wins. You might be living a life someone else dreams of while you're too busy chasing theirs. Pause and notice what you've already built before reaching for the next thing. In your 30s, joy comes from alignment, not competition. Build a life that fits you so well that you stop caring about how it measures up to anyone else's. That's the real victory. If you master this, you'll enter your 40s focused, peaceful, and proud of your journey. Because you weren't busy being someone else. You were busy becoming the best version of you. Not everyone who gives advice is qualified to give it. In your 30s, you'll get input on your career, relationships, money, and health. But if the person speaking hasn't achieved what you want, their advice might lead you off track instead of forward. It's easy to take advice from people you trust emotionally, family, friends, coworkers. But trust doesn't equal expertise. Your uncle may mean well when talking about business, but if he's never built one, his words are opinion, not proven strategy. Choosing the wrong advisors can delay your growth for years. Well-meaning people can unintentionally project their fears and limitations onto you. If they believe something is impossible, they might convince you not to try, even if you could succeed. In your 30s, seek mentors who have done what you want to do. If you want a strong marriage, learn from couples who've been happy for decades. If you want financial success, study those who've built and maintained it. Real examples matter. Look for patterns. If someone's results match your goals, their advice holds weight. If they talk more than they've achieved, be polite, but filter their input. Protect your mind from voices that keep you small, even if they mean no harm. Remember, people often advise you based on what's safe for them, not what's right for you. They may avoid risk because they fear failure, not because the risk is bad. Understanding their perspective helps you decide what to accept or reject. Also, know when to stop asking for advice altogether. Overseeking opinions can cause paralysis. Too many voices make it hard to hear your own. Learn to trust your judgment. It's a skill that grows with experience. Surround yourself with people who believe in your potential and push you toward it. The right circle can shorten your path to success by years. They'll challenge you, guide you, and remind you of your strengths when you forget them. Bad advice is expensive. It costs time, energy, and missed chances. Good advice is priceless. It saves time, builds confidence, and opens doors. In your 30s, knowing the difference is a superpower. By 40, you'll either be grateful you chose your advisors well or regret you didn't. Make sure you're learning from lives you'd want to live, not from those you wouldn't trade places with for a second. In your 30s, your body still feels young enough to handle late nights, skipped workouts, and fast food. But small neglects now quietly build into big problems later. The habits you set in this decade decide whether your 40s are energetic or full of regrets. Your metabolism slows, recovery takes longer, and stress leaves a deeper mark. Ignoring exercise, sleep, and nutrition in your 30s is like ignoring cracks in a house's foundation. You might not see the damage immediately, but it will come. Think of your body as your lifetime vehicle. You only get one. Skipping maintenance because you feel fine is risky. By the time the warning signs appear, it's often much harder to reverse them. Prevention now saves years of repair later. Start with sleep. It's the most overlooked health habit. 8 hours restores your mind, repairs your body, and boosts mood. Trading it for extra work or entertainment is like stealing energy from your future self to please your current one. Next, move daily. You don't need to train like an athlete. Just commit to consistent activity. Walk, stretch, lift, swim. Movement keeps your body functional and your mind clear. In your 30s, it's less about aesthetics and more about staying capable. Nutrition matters more now than ever. What you eat fuels your focus, energy, and mood. Reduce processed junk, add more whole foods, and hydrate well. Small daily improvements compound into massive differences over a decade. Mental health is part of physical health. Limit toxic inputs, both digital and personal. Protect your emotional space as fiercely as your physical one. Stress in your 30s can be managed, but only if you make it a priority before it controls you. Regular checkups aren't a sign of weakness. They're insurance for your future. Detecting issues early can make the difference between a small adjustment and a lifelong struggle. Prevention beats reaction every time. Your health fuels every goal you have. Without it, career, relationships, and dreams all suffer. Treat your body as the partner in your success. not the afterthought you remember when it breaks. By the time you hit 40, you'll either be glad you built a strong foundation or wish you had. The choice is made in the small, daily decisions you start making right now. Your 30s are the make-or-break decade for financial stability. The habits you build now decide whether you'll be free or trapped later. Poor choices compound, but so do smart ones. Every dollar you save or invest now grows into freedom later in life. By now, you likely earn more than in your 20s, but expenses grow too. Housing, family, lifestyle upgrades creep in. Without discipline, income rises, but wealth doesn't. Lifestyle inflation silently steals your future while making you feel comfortable. The first rule: know where your money goes. Track every expense for a month. Awareness is power. Most people underestimate wasteful spending. Once you see the leaks and used subscriptions, impulse buys, you can redirect that money toward goals that matter. Emergency savings are non-negotiable. Life will surprise you: car repairs, medical bills, job changes. Having 3 to 6 months of expenses saved keeps you calm and prevents debt when those moments hit. It's a shield against panic decisions. Invest early and consistently. You don't need to time the market. Time in the market is what builds wealth. Use index funds or retirement accounts. Even small monthly contributions grow significantly over decades. Delay costs far more than risk. Avoid high-interest debt like it's poison. Credit cards, payday loans, these drain your future faster than anything else. Pay them off aggressively. Debt robs not just money but mental space, keeping you tied to past mistakes instead of building forward. Learn to separate needs from wants. Needs keep you secure. Wants bring joy, but too many will trap you. The best balance is enjoying today while protecting tomorrow. Saying no now often means saying yes to bigger opportunities later. Increase your income skills. Ask for raises, learn high-value abilities, or start a side income. Saving is vital, but earning more expands your options. In your 30s, career growth and financial growth are deeply connected. Don't ignore either. Surround yourself with financially wise people. Money habits are contagious. If your circle spends recklessly, you'll feel pressure to match them. Find peers who normalize investing, saving, and planning ahead. They'll pull you upward. By 40, you'll either have a solid financial base or a pile of regrets. The difference will not be luck. It will be the choices you made every month of your 30s. Choose the path that gives your future self freedom. Who you spend time with in your 30s shapes your energy, mindset, and even your future. This decade is too short to be drained by people who hold you back. Surround yourself with those who inspire growth, support your goals, and respect your boundaries. Toxic relationships cost more than time. They cost clarity and confidence. Friends who mock your dreams, partners who belittle your progress, or relatives who always bring negativity will keep you smaller than you're meant to be. Protect your space. Audit your circle. Ask, who encourages me? Who drains me? Who challenges me to be better? Who makes me doubt myself? It's not selfish to create distance from those who harm your peace. It's necessary for your mental and emotional health. Your 30s are when quality outweighs quantity. You don't need 100 acquaintances. You need a few solid connections. Seek relationships where trust is mutual, honesty is valued, and wins are celebrated without jealousy or competition. Build connections with people who are ahead of you in some areas. Learn from their habits, mindset, and decisions. Their example will naturally raise your standards. Growth feels easier when you're surrounded by people already living it. Don't forget to nurture the relationships that matter. Success feels empty without people to share it with. Make time for calls, visits, and small acts of appreciation. Neglect turns even strong connections cold over time. Be the kind of friend or partner you want to have. Show up when it's inconvenient. Listen without judgment, and celebrate others without expecting anything back. Strong relationships are built on consistency, not convenience. Avoid staying in relationships out of fear of being alone, of starting over, of change. The wrong connections block you from finding the right ones. Ending what's unhealthy is often the first step towards something better. Protect your emotional bandwidth. The people closest to you should recharge you, not leave you exhausted. A supportive circle is like fuel. You can go further, faster, and with more joy when you have it. By the time you reach 40, the people in your life will either reflect the person you wanted to become or the one you settled for. Choose wisely now. and your relationships will be your greatest asset. Your 30s are not the end of growth, they're the launch pad. But many people stop learning after school, thinking they know enough. The truth is, if you're not learning, you're falling behind. The world changes fast, and skills that kept you relevant at May 25th be outdated by 35. Lifelong learning keeps your mind sharp and your opportunities open. It's not just about formal education, it's about curiosity. Read books, take courses, attend workshops, and learn from mentors. Every skill you gain expands your choices for the future. Learning also builds confidence. In your 30s, confidence comes less from appearance and more from competence. When you know you can adapt, solve problems, and master new areas, you carry yourself differently, and others notice. Don't limit learning to your career. Pick up skills that make life richer: languages, cooking, investing, communication, or even public speaking. These not only improve your life, but can open doors you didn't even know existed. Block out regular time for learning. Treat it like a non-negotiable meeting with your future self. Even 30 minutes a day compounds into hundreds of hours over the years, giving you an advantage most people never bother to create. Use learning to stay adaptable. Your 30s might bring career shifts, industry changes, or life surprises. The more skills you have, the easier it is to pivot without fear. Adaptability is one of the most valuable assets in today's world. Challenge yourself to be a beginner again. Many avoid new skills because they hate looking inexperienced. But discomfort is part of the process. Every expert you admire was once where you are, uncertain, awkward, and learning step by step. Learn from multiple sources. Books give depth, podcasts give variety, people give perspective, and experiences give wisdom. The best learners combine them all, turning knowledge into action rather than letting it sit unused. Stay humble enough to know you don't know everything. Ego keeps many in their comfort zones. Curiosity keeps you moving forward. The smartest people aren't the ones who know the most. They're the ones who keep asking questions. By 40, the knowledge and skills you've built will either make you confident in any room or unsure of your place. Keep learning, and you'll enter the next decade ready for whatever comes, not afraid of it. Your 30s are not a pause in life. They're the foundation for everything ahead. This decade decides whether you enter your 40s with momentum or regret. Every choice now, big or small, compounds over time. You're building either a future you're excited for or one you wish you could escape. Stop thinking you have endless time. You don't. Years pass faster now, and someday comes sooner than you expect. Don't wait for the perfect moment. It doesn't exist. Start the project, take the trip, invest in yourself. Action today shapes freedom tomorrow. In your 30s, focus matters more than speed. Chasing too many goals scatters your energy. Pick a few that matter most: health, career, relationships, growth, and go deep. Progress in these areas will make the rest of life easier and more fulfilling. Protect your peace fiercely. Say no to toxic people, draining commitments, and environments that keep you small. Your mental and emotional energy are limited. Spend them where they bring returns, not where they get wasted on negativity. Keep your health at the center. No success matters if you're too exhausted or unwell to enjoy it. Sleep well, move daily, eat for fuel, and manage stress. These aren't luxuries. They're the foundation that makes everything else possible. Don't fear failure. In your 30s, you're still early enough to recover from mistakes, but experienced enough to avoid most of them. Risks now are investments in a stronger, wiser, more capable version of yourself later. Celebrate progress along the way. Waiting until you arrive before feeling proud will steal your joy. Every step forward counts. Recognizing small wins keeps you motivated for the long game this decade demands. Stay curious. Keep learning skills that make you adaptable and valuable. Curiosity prevents stagnation, keeps your mind sharp, and ensures you're ready for opportunities that appear unexpectedly. Growth is your best insurance policy. Surround yourself with people who lift you higher. Your circle will either multiply your momentum or drain it. Choose those who believe in your potential and inspire you to keep moving, even on the hard days. If this decade teaches you anything, let it be this: your life is your responsibility. No one is coming to save you. Build the habits, relationships, health, and mindset that will carry you into the next chapter ready, not wishing you had started sooner.